Megan Colley tried to find her biological mother for 14 years.
I want to be able to look at the person who did it and try to figure out, like, why did you feel the need to do this?
Only to eventually find out she'd been murdered.
Angela Mason's body turned up in a shallow grave at Lake Thunderbird in 2008.
She remained unidentified until 2022.
Now, our licensed investigator, Lisa Monahan, is following leads in her case.
From Oklahoma to Florida, part 2 of tonight's Deadline, Shallow Grave.
In search of a possible motive in the murder of Angela Mason, we spoke with family and friends, looked into any past mistakes, or scored lovers.
I was friends with Michael Gaynor. Michael was the father of Reagan, which is their first kid they had together. Several years or months after the adoption, they had another child.
The romance didn't last. By all accounts, they remained friends, but it's not clear how the friendship stood at the time of summer. Whatever Angela's relationship to Michael was, records show she married Adam Mason in Arizona in 2005. They settled down in Moore, Oklahoma, and had 2 children of their own. The marriage didn't last long. Mason filed for divorce April 25th, 2008. I asked him why, but he wouldn't reply. We pulled the file and quickly discovered something very suspicious. Adam took steps to expedite the couple's divorce in June 2008, after she'd gone missing. What's more, Angela's signature was on the divorce decree dated September 18th, 2008, the month after her badly decomposed body was found. Could she possibly have signed it before she was killed? Her signature on the next page, the child support agreement, raised even more questions.
At the bottom of the G, there's a large loop.
So we called in a handwriting expert. David Parrott is a forensic document examiner with a long history of working with law enforcement. He compared what is believed to be Angela's genuine signature with the one on the document.
Whoever did this question signature made a lot of mistakes. They're glaring mistakes.
He analyzed how each letter connects with the next, the curvature or angle of the characters, and if the signature seemed smooth or unsteady.
One of the first things I noticed was that there was tremor or shakiness in the line.
He found numerous discrepancies and highlighted some of the significant differences.
Whoever drew this put the gap in the wrong place. It's apparent from looking at the question that the person was trying to simulate the shapes of the letters. That's a very important deviation.
Including unusual spacing or connections in letters, and evidence the questionable signature was slowly, if not carefully, drawn.
It didn't take very long when I started seeing letters that were connected that shouldn't be connected. If Angela Mason had done this signature, you wouldn't see her changing where the letters are disconnected from one another.
He's confident it's a forgery, but can't say with any certainty who did it. However, he was not surprised. Adam, the other signer, has a criminal history, including burglary, obstructing an officer, eluding police, and forgery.
It had characteristics that whoever did this had done it before.
Also suspicious was Adam's behavior, according to Angela's family, immediately following her disappearance.
He was ripping up the carpet out of the house right after she took off. And he said that he was done with it and he was going to sell the house.
A check of local property records, and we discovered he made good on it in 2011. The house sold for $50,000 less than they paid for it. I looked him up and found records showing he's been living out of state since then. Following that lead, we tracked him down here to Florida in a small town just outside of Panama City. He never answered my messages. Hopefully, he'd answer the door.
We've come all this way to talk to you about Angie. We'd just like to ask you a couple of questions about her disappearance.
Adam didn't answer, so we checked court records in Florida. Although there was nothing new, he has 3 protective orders accusing him of threatening to harm, if not kill, women in Oklahoma. In prison, he was also recommended for anger management. But here in Florida, I only found where he filed for $30,000 in back child support from Angela in 2018, 10 years after she died. So many questions. So I tried him again.
At the tone, please record your message.
I'd like to visit with you about your ex-wife. You know, everyone is pointing the finger at you, and I just want to get your side of the story.
Instead, I'd have to settle for the unexpected return call from a man claiming to be his brother, John.
So I'm calling you on his behalf. You sent him several he does not want to talk to you.
I don't want his silence to be misconstrued.
He said anything that you have to say, you can say to me, you can speak to me, but...
Nobody reported Angela Mason missing. That would be my first question for him. When did he last see her alive?
He would tell you they got into an argument. It went south, and she left.
Was that before or after he filed for divorce?
I don't remember.
And that's why I want to speak with him.
John was little help in clarifying the timing of Angela's disappearance, but he insisted his brother thought Angela just ran out on him.
The only thing that he said is that he was talking to the father of her daughter,
Michael Gaynor, who committed suicide a year after Angela's disappearance. That's also what Adam Mason told the OSBI, as well as claiming he'd been traumatized by the recent developments in the case. But none of that explains how the signature of a dead woman ended up on his divorce papers.
It's not adding up. It doesn't make sense to me.
It was a long time ago. I do think there was a moment where they did meet one more time and she signed papers after he left. I do think that happened, but I don't 100% recall if that is correct or not.
He is, however, 100% certain Adam Mason has no interest in answering a reporter's questions.
We'd rather not dwell on it. I think that's what it comes down to for him.
And what that means for Angela's oldest daughter, Reagan.
She's probably the hardest person I've had to mourn.
She may never know the truth of why she lost the opportunity to develop a relationship with her biological mother.
I'd always grown up wanting to meet her, and then to find out that that chance had been taken from me, it was the most devastating loss. There's a part of me that has ease, kind of finding my peace in knowing that the woman that I saw in kind of a horrible light is now in a beautiful light.
On Deadline, Lisa Monahan, Oklahoma's Own, News 9.